Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Truth Podcast with your brother Old God and Sam, man. We're here tonight, man, because we wanted to get this story to you. We actually already, recorded our podcast, but this was very urgent. We know about the 17-year-old rape case, with Charlamagne and God, and it's been we made a video about it. We haven't released it yet. We talked about like the silence of the big media outlets, not really touching it, but Finally, the rumor report, Angela Yee brought it up, and Charlamagne briefly, touched on it. So I'm going to play this audio, then we're going to, have some reaction on this. Make sure I hit the like button and share this video.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get some front page news. See the God, Charlamagne Leonard.
Yes, this story is close to home as it involves one of our hosts on the Breakfast Club, and we've been waiting for all of the information to come out before we could record it. But it has been announced that there was a 17-year-old rape case against Leonard McKelvey, a.k.a. Charlamagne, and that case will not be reopened. Now, he was arrested back in 2001 on suspicion of raping a 15-year-old girl. Back in 2002, Leonard McKelvey made a plea agreement, and he pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. The rape charge was dismissed, and that case cannot be reopened. Now, according to the prosecutor, South Carolina law is clear that once a defendant enters plea negotiations and a plea agreement is accepted by the court, due process requires the state to honor the agreement. The state's prosecution has ended, and the dismissed charge against Mr. McKelvey will not be resurrected.
And I cooperate with authorities.
Yes.
Participated in multiple interviews and submitted the DNA testing.
Right.
The sexual assault charge was dismissed.
Now, Charlamagne, a.k.a. Leonard McKelvey's attorney, said he never had sexual relations or any physical contact with the accuser and even provided DNA to prove it. So that's the situation with that. I know a lot of people were waiting for us to speak on it, and there's all the facts of what we know.
I'm just praying for everybody involved and all victims of sexual assault, but those are the facts of my situation.
All right, so there you have it. I'm sure we'll talk more about it later.
So there you have it, man. The Breakfast Club finally, after about a week and some change, reading on a rumor report, but real weird, uncomfortable. You can just hear the tone in her voice. You couldn't even fake it. Obviously, it's a touchy subject. Sam, man, this is actually your first time actually hearing this. Like right now, I don't know how we missed it, but now, this is your first time hearing it. What's your reaction now of hearing Charlamagne and the Breakfast Club actually finally, for the first time, speak out about these rape allegations?
Well, I know we alluded to it earlier on the podcast, and I know that video and that content will be dropped shortly. Whether or not it was smart for Charlamagne and God to stay silent, and we talked about Angela Ray, the woman and his friend that came out on CNN and dropped her tweets in regard to the situation, saying that everybody involved, that the facts will come out and her brother is innocent. And we debated back and forth on whether or not that was even smart. But I think it was a situation now that we've heard the content that the whispers became very loud noises, and it was something that they couldn't avoid any longer. And I think that although we both agreed that it was smart for Charlamagne not to say anything in the way that they did it on the Breakfast Club, on their platform, being as open and honest as they always have been and always addressing situations, and being savvy and aware of what's going on over the internet and what's going on YouTube and things like that, this is a smart situation for them to address, because now the naysayers can no longer say that they're ducking it.
Right. And sometimes, situations do get to a point where, you just got to come out and say, you know what, let me just, say something on it. I don't want to remain silent, because, your lawyer says, don't say nothing on this to nobody. But it's just like, when your name is getting dragged through the mud and, it appears like the haters are gaining steam. I'm kind of glad that they, at least said something about it. And, Angela did say that they will speak about it, at a later date. And I think they're going to speak about it once everything is all said and done, and the fork is in the ground and all that. I think that, they're going to have a real deep conversation on this. I think Charlamagne can, find a way to turn this thing around, for positive at some point. But, at this point, man, with this, it seems like a lot of people, like you spoke on earlier, want to see, this brother destroyed, man, without really looking at the facts of the case.
That's 100% fact. And like I was going to say, oh God, people want to seek destruction, not justice. No one wants to seek justice in this situation. Everyone wants to seek someone getting destroyed. at the end of the day. And I'm not talking about Star. I'm not talking about the women involved. I'm talking about the people that are fueling this situation. The people on the street that almost made it no choice for the Breakfast Club to have to acknowledge this. Because, you know, I mean, even when we covered it, the amount of backlash we got from it, and that was on a minuscule amount because we weren't the people directly charged or involved with it. We just tried to give an objective view, and people, you know what I mean, they had their views, their very strong views on that. So if we were getting it in a very minute amount, we can only imagine the backlash that Charlamagne was getting. Is something that couldn't be ignored any longer. You can ignore 1, 2, but when you're getting thousands and thousands and thousands of people are petitioning for your job to get lost, and now you have HBO, and maybe who knows? We asked if this would be a situation where HBO could potentially pull a really good situation for Charlamagne the God, and maybe it was a situation where HBO started questioning things, and this was something that he could no longer ignore and had to talk about it. But it was obvious Charlamagne sounded pissed to even have to bring it back up. He really did. Like you said, it was an uncomfortable situation for everyone involved. Angela Yee really didn't want to talk about it, but they shed light on it, almost like they wanted to joke about it. But Charlamagne didn't seem like he was in a joking mood. He seemed real pissed off about it. And like we talked about in the podcast earlier, without giving away too much, is this karma coming back at Charlamagne the God for the distasteful comments he may have made in the past? We all know the comments that he made on Brilliant Idiots, DJ Academics. We all see what Sky dropped on his IG earlier, talking about his wife.
Talk about that though. Let's talk about those conversations in particular. You know, the Spanish Fly. You know, we dropped it. You know, we can talk about it again. You know, it's no harm, no foul. You know, he talked about that, putting that inside the ENJ. We paid the clip. You know, a lot of people are using this now as ammunition, like you said, the whole karma thing. You know, but when you when you look at the definition of Spanish Fly, you know, it's really you know pretty much a sexual enhancement, you know, for men and women. You know, it's not like a date rape drug per se, you know, but you know, it just, you know, the climate of everything that's going on and the people that are coming out, it just makes for a recipe of nothing but disaster for Charlamagne. So I'm just hoping, you know, that one, we can get to the truth, which I already think I have the truth, you know, in this situation. But, you know, we got a lot of people who say we don't, you know, but healing, people are going to need healing, because you talked about it earlier, man, like destruction, but where's the healing at? Like, where's the justice at? Talk about that, Sam, man. Everybody wants to see this man go down. You know, he's guilty, but like nobody's talking about Jessica Reed, because something happened to her. We know that something happened. We all could concede that, and she's hurt. And you know, we want to see her get help. And I think it's fair game for Star, the Star Report, to do what he did. It is what it is. It's media, but that's getting lost in the whole equation. Talk about that.
Nah, that's a fact, and we talked about it early on. At first, when we heard the charges and we heard the accusations, and we had to be objective to the situation. By no means did we drag this young lady under the mud, although it may have seemed like that because we weren't on her side. It didn't seem like we were following the trace. We wanted to be objective, and the stories just didn't seem to add up to us when we were going through and really looking at the facts. It seemed like this was a situation where someone was trying to gain some kind of notoriety or whatever the case may be. When you go back to the facts, like we alluded to in his book, Black Privilege, he talked about the situation, him throwing a party for his high school cousin who just gained a scholarship to Penn State University. He admitted that he was at fault for bringing alcohol to that situation, being young and dumb, getting alcohol for your cousins and getting chicks. Did we agree that having that young lady in the car was wrong? Absolutely. I don't think Charlamagne would disagree with that. Having that young lady in the car, no matter what the situation was, it doesn't look good for someone over the age of 20 having a 15-year-old in the car. And if you're not cousins, it just doesn't look right at the end of the day. So I think he would admit that as well. But the facts remain, and it's been proven in South Carolina court. The case has been closed. The Charlamagne DNA evidence, blood evidence has shown that he did not do this. So although we don't seek justice in that situation and the people don't get what they want in regards to Charlamagne being destroyed, let's not forget this woman's name, Miss Jessica Reed, which a lot of people in the comment section don't even fucking know. And that's a shame. They rather seek justice, and they don't care at who expense it comes from. They just want destruction.
Yeah, man, and it's really sad, you know, that people can't even you know, just look at the logical, you know, facts in this situation. You know, that's one thing we count on the courts to do. And you know, a lot of times it does happen. Of course, not all the time. We see people getting slighted all day long, but you know, some of the times in the court, you know, all the facts are put on the table. And you know, like the brother said, he did speak about it, you know, before, but it's just these old videos where he was just speaking gingerly. And that, like you said earlier, fellas have. and sisters they have with each other, you know. But again, you have to, if this is a lesson for anybody out there, you have to watch what you say, because once you put it out there, you can't get it back. And if a situation comes up like this, now people, your name is being drugged through the mud. Now people are pulling up these old audios. Are you talking about Spanish Fly? You talking about, you know, stuff you did with your wife, and, you know, just throwing around the word rape gingerly. It just don't look good. It's a recipe for disaster at this point. And you know, I don't know, man. You know, we received a lot of backlash, you know, on this channel for dealing with it rather objectively. You know what I mean? So I can imagine what Charlamagne, you know, and even Jessica Reed is getting at this point.
We live in a society of a real high level of political correctness where you can't say anything anymore. Back in the day, where your Charlamagnes grew up and where we kind of grew up, political incorrectness, a lot of our comedians and things like that, a lot more could be said than what could be said now. You can't talk about anything nowadays. Nothing can be joked about. And although his jokes may have been off color, and I can understand why a lot of women don't really associate with Charlamagne the God, I can understand that, and I'm not mad at you for that. Let's not equate how you feel toward fact, and let's not try to throw vindication towards your feeling and have this man possibly lose a lot that has 2 daughters and made mistakes. And I'm sure he has to answer to that too. He has 2 daughters that he has to go home to that are hearing these things that he has to answer to as well. So no one's trying to justify or vindicate that man like we alluded to earlier. I think it was kind of misconstrued when we started one of the conversations with, we look up to the guy and things like that. No. We appreciate and respect the man's grind, who's been in radio, who does things that we do, the same way we respect the Funk Flexes, the same way we respect the E-Bros, the same way we respect a lot of the radio DJs, your Wendy Williams, that have came before us to do what we do and are great at it. We respect what they do. But by no means and no way of stretch or shape or form are we condoning actions. If he did something that he had no business doing, if he raped this woman, he would not be getting taken care of or being defended on this platform. Point blank, period. We don't give a fuck who you are. And that's just a fact.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. You know, definitely 100%, you know, agree with that. So, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, once again, we got to look at the bigger picture, you know, here, the destruction, once again, you know, of a legacy, you know, that's being built up. But, you know, people don't seem to care about that. So, you know, at this point, man, I mean, it just is what it is. If there's any more developments, you know, on this, we will let you know. But make sure I hit that like button and share the video for us, man. We appreciate it. Sam, man, you got anything else on the way out?
Yeah, now, real quick before we get out of here, I appreciate each and every one of y'all watching right now. What do you see? Do you think this is dead? Do you think this is over? I mean, you heard Angela Yee say they were going to talk about it a little more. Do you think that there's any more to talk about? Do you think any more steam comes out of this? Or what do you see happen in the next couple of weeks or the week or so with the situation?
It could go one or two ways. I mean, it was kind of dying down, then it kind of picked up a little bit of steam. Angela Rye came out, you know, and defending Charlamagne, you know, got a lot of backlash. She even deleted her comment. It could go away, but I think if it's going to heat up, it's going to heat up fast. I don't see it going away and coming back. If it's going to heat up, it's going to heat up within the next few days, you know, or a week. And it could be some more things that may come out. You never know with these type of situations. You never know, but hopefully this is a one and done. You know, she gets the type of help that she needs. We can all move forward and learn from this situation. Everybody can learn something from this. So that's what I'm hoping that happens.
That's a fact. If we haven't learned anything from this lesson, we must learn that social media ruins this fucking world. If it wasn't for social media sharing this shit and the buzz getting going, this would have never had the steam that it has right now. 10 years ago, this wouldn't have the same steam. So we run this world, man. We got to be careful what we say and the information and the content we distribute, because we can really make a real crazy situation happen without even meaning to.
Yes, sir. But you listen to another segment of the Uncensored Truth podcast, doing it, you know, anywhere. We do it anywhere. That's how we do it, man. We actually love this. We appreciate y'all for listening, you know, to this podcast. We need y'all to do two things as usual. Make sure you share this video and hit that like button right up on top, you know, of the content. You can do it while you're watching this too. So yeah, man, that's dope. We appreciate it. Y'all can also, I'm gonna tell y'all, mess with us on our Instagrams, our Facebooks. Go in the description box. Viral Hip Hop, you can see Sam Ant. You know, Hip Hop News Center, you can see mine right in the description box. Make sure y'all mess with us on social media too, man. We got some real dope Instagram pages, you know, so go rock with us over there. That's all I got to say, man.
That's a fact, man. I prefer everything over out there, man. Until next time, until next story. Uncensored Truth, we out of here.
Hey.
Come on, baby, I want you to work around.